Mela is held every 12 years in 4 cities. Hindu devotees congregate in these places to lead a pious life, aspiring to absolve themselves of their sins and being freed from the cycle of birth and death. It is said to be the largest gathering of believers anywhere in the world. An extraordinary energy is produced in the presence of saints and sages who come together during this perfect cosmic event.
I have come to Kumbh Mela to enjoy and taste the nectar, divine nectar.
I think this kind of big gathering for spiritual reasons, I think very, very useful.
कुंभ में एक और भी बात दर्शनीय होती है कि इसमें छोटे बड़े का कोई भेदभाव नहीं है। बड़े से बड़ा व्यक्ति, चाहे वो राजा महाराजा हो, धनी मानी हो, विद्वान हो, उद्योगपति हो, धनपति हो और गरीब से गरीब आदमी, तो चाहे किसी जाति का हो, किसी वर्ण का हो, किसी पेशे का हो, एक साथ एक क्षण माई गंगा की गोद में, संगम में अपने जीवन को धन्य करते हैं स्नान करके।
यहाँ आकर के लोगों के मनोमैल दूर हो जाते हैं। प्राणी मात्र में सद्भाव का यहाँ प्रत्यक्ष दर्शन होता है। यहाँ पर जात पात मनुष्यों की तो क्या, पशु पक्षियों की भी कोई रोक टोक नहीं है।
The Tropic of Cancer goes over Prayag. The unique planetary positions favorably influence all the living beings during this period at Prayag. According to Atharva Ved, the human head and neck form an inverted pitcher or comb from where Amrit or nectar flows downwards into the body. The Matsya Puran and Garud Puran mention a legend where the Devtas and Asuras churn the cosmic ocean to recover a pot or kumbh containing Amrit, which is the nectar of immortality. When Dhanvantri, the divine healer, appeared with the pot, the Devtas and Asuras fought for it. The gods won, but not before some nectar from the pot had spilled at Prayag, Hardwar, Ujjain and Nasik, the 4 places where Kumbh Melas take place. Kumbh is mentioned in the Vedas and the Ramayana. One legend says that Lord Buddha visited the Kumbh some 450 years before the birth of Christ. The first reference to the Mahakumbh by any foreigner was made by Chinese traveller Hun Sang in 7 AD during the reign of King Harshavardhan, when, according to Sang, 500,000 people had taken a dip in the Sangam. This year's Mela at Allahabad was said to be more special because after 144 years, since 1857, it saw a rare alignment of planets that was tenfold more auspicious. Besides, this was the first major Kumbh Mela since the advent of the electronic and satellite era. Time and dates for the 6 snans were calculated on the basis of a specific planetary configuration. With a budget of Rs 1,650 million, the sandy ghats of Yamuna and the Ganga were turned into an organized tent city. One could call it a management marvel or put it down to the sheer organizational skill of us Indians. The government left no stone unturned to make this Kumbh an international spiritual event. Special security measures were taken since numerous celebrities, national and international, were expected to visit the Sangam. There were hardly any problems of sanitation, communications, road and rail transport, power and water supply. Our Kumbh management proved that we could do it. As the first bathing day drew near, millions of pilgrims began pouring into Kumbh Nagar. The multitude of pilgrims were like a surging sea of humanity. They arrived from all over India, from Ladakh to Kanyakumari, from Bhuj to Kamakhya, thus transforming Kumbh Nagar into a miniature India. The flow of the crowd continued unabated. All through the night, thousands were seen sitting and sleeping under the open sky, braving the cold gust of chilly winds. Many had nothing except a polythene sheet to spread on the sands. Faith is the biggest shelter. With these pilgrims came foreigners from around the world to search for something that their civilization failed to give them. The Mela began with a bath on the occasion of Posh Purnima on Tuesday, the 9th of January. Braving intense cold, more than 5 million devotees took a holy dip in the waters of the Sangam, the confluence of Ganga, Yamuna, and mythical Saraswati. The second snan was on Makar Sankranti. It was the first of the Shahi snans. The March for Salvation started at 5 a.m. Of the 13 main akhadas, Mahanirvani, scholarly and senior, bathed first. The Akhada procession was witnessed by devotees with folded hands. These Akhadas were created by Adi Guru Shankaracharya for protecting Hindus from forcible conversions and for propagating the Vedic religion. A Naga sadhu is one who has no desire for clothing, for sex, or for money. The sky is his clothing and the earth his bed, and the ash on his body symbolizes his readiness to get sacrificed anytime. History records that these mendicants had offered their services to small princely states in the face of invasions. They fought to protect Hardwar in 1666 AD, Allahabad in 1748 AD, and Mathura in 1757 AD. In these battles, thousands of Naga warriors sacrificed their lives on the altar of motherland and religion. The enduring image of the Kumbh is the pilgrim. There were three types of pilgrims at the Kumbh: those who believed in an awe-inspiring God, those who believed in God as a close companion, and those who were sheer spectators. The Mela was almost like a rite of passage for the holy men. Here they met with others with different streams of thought, discussed religion, elected their leaders, gathered new followers, and preached. Kumbh offered a great opportunity to millions to meet the great sages and hear their discourses and learn.
आत्मा ब्रह्मतर लक्ष्यमुच्यते अप्रमत्तेन वेदव्यम शरवत्तन्मयो भवेत्।
बड़े जोर से नारद जी महाराज हंसने लगे। बहुत से लोग वहाँ एकत्रित हुए। महर्षि नारद जी को देख करके बहुत से लोगों ने कहा कि महाराज तो हंस रहे हैं। फिर थोड़ी देर में नारद जी महाराज रोने लग गए।
हिंदू धर्म भी एक देव की उपासना करता है, एक परमात्मा, अखंड परमात्मा। उसके हजार नाम हो सकते हैं, लेकिन परमात्मा कभी दो हुआ नहीं, ना कभी होगा।
Many attended musical concerts by renowned artists of the country. One of the must-see sight at the Kumbh was its market. There was very little one didn't get there. Kumbh truly showcased the universal spirit of Hinduism. Everyone was welcome in its fold. Nothing was communal. Nagar smelt of life, of ghee, of jalebis, of sweets, samosas, sindoor, agarbatti, and of the evening wood smoke of villages. Yet, almost every person who took the holy dip was not thinking of life here, but of the snan as a bridge to the afterlife. This was a crowd detached from life, single, alone in the crowd, but united in the arrangements for the final journey. The Kumbh cannot go without a record of lost persons. This time also, over 5,000 people were reported lost on the Makar Sankranti day alone. Thanks to the volunteers, almost all of them were able to rejoin their near and dear. Everyone lauded the volunteers of Civil Defence, Bharat Scouts and Guides, NCC, NSS for their round-the-clock services. The Vishwa Hindu Parishad sponsored Dharam Sansad and declared the date of the beginning of the construction of Sri Ram Temple at Ayodhya.
ये महापर्व जिस हेतु से हमारे इस देश के भीतर हमारे संतों ने, ऋषियों, मुनियों ने इसको कायम किया था, वह निश्चित रूप से परिपूर्ण हो रहा है। इसका केवल बाह्य रूप गंगा स्नान मात्र का रह गया था, किंतु अब धर्म संसद के माध्यम से एक संदेश पूरे भारत को जाता है और हिंदू समाज अपनी समस्याओं के निदान के लिए उद्यत होता है। यह एक बहुत बड़ी उपलब्धि इस धर्म संसद से, इस महाकुंभ के अवसर पर हुई है।
A replica of the proposed Sri Ram Temple at Ayodhya was the biggest attraction for devout Hindus. Almost everybody who visited the Kumbh visited this site. An estimated 25 million pilgrims participated in the Shahi Snan on morning Amavasya, which began at 5:15 a.m. The third Shahi Snan, the fourth of the 6 Snans, was on Basant Panchami, the 29th of January 2001. It formally commenced at around 6 a.m. as the Akhadas arrived in royal procession. An estimated 15 million devotees took a holy dip in the Sangam, testing the administration and the police to their limits, but reinforcing the fact that the Indian milieu had not lost touch with the divine. The beauty of Hindu ethics is that it is not absolutist or formal, but relative, and molds itself according to the individual. There are no commandments. Instead, the onus of doing good and avoiding evil is put upon the person. Millions were fed free at various camps with the food prepared in pure ghee and served with love and affection, expecting nothing in return from anyone. A scene that is perhaps unimaginable elsewhere in the world. Contrary to the tales of stupendous filth, the walkways and the riverbanks were fairly clean. Thousands cooked, lived, and prayed in peace.
When I heard, when we said we go to India, oh, be careful, you're not safe, but we are safe, very safe and helpful and happiness.
The Kumbh was a Dehat Ka Mela, that is, a rural festival. Besides the sadhus, tourists and pilgrims, this Mela was for Kalpavasis, who prayed and lived there with self-imposed discipline for 30 days. Usually, at the Sangam, shaving the head was the first act of the devout. Unless one performs a mundan, which is the shaving of one's head, there is no point in performing a pinddan, which is praying for one's ancestors at Gaya or Maran, which are death rites at Kashi, or even charity at Kurukshetra. It is customary for Hindus to perform a ritual called Pind Dan for their forefathers in Allahabad. It is performed by Prayagvals.
हे पूज्य माताजी वैकुंठ में प्राप्त हो।
Pilgrims and Kalpavasis visited many places of tourist and religious interest in the city of Allahabad during Kumbh. On the occasion of Maghi Purnima, an estimated 10 million pilgrims took a sin-cleansing dip in Sangam. It also marked the end of the Kalpavas. The last Snan was on the Mahashivratri. After a holy bath in the Sangam, millions prayed and worshipped Lord Shiva. The 44-day spiritual carnival that formally started on the 9th of January on Paush Purnima culminated on Mahashivratri. The beauty of this carnival lies in the fact that it transcends the barriers of culture, religion, and geography to create a synthesis of experiences that is so uniquely our own. To an atheist, a dip in the Sangam had no meaning, but for a believer, it was enriching. He enjoyed his wish fulfillment of a long treasured dream of a dip during the Kumbh in Prayag. He returned home, enriched within, enlightened and content. This was the greatest reward for him. Lord Krishna says in Srimad Bhagavad Gita, as various rivers meet the ocean, the worship of various gods and goddesses reaches me. In the Indian context, the various faiths and religions, languages and dialects, the way of living, dresses and regions may be strikingly different, but a slender link runs through them. Mahakumbh 2001 at Prayag was a shining example of this unity in diversity. Coming after 12 years, with planetary positions that repeat only once in 144 years, Mahakumbh 2001 in Allahabad will go down in history as one of the most peaceful, most photographed, and relatively incident-free spiritual gatherings on earth.